So, say for the sake of argument, you start slowly rebranding your channel into one dedicated to more like monster catching and taming games and media, then some absolute dipshit in a stupid hat walks onto stage and is all like, more like Call of Duty. Man, it's a shame there aren't any other FPS games out there, so check out my one. And personally, if I was a dev there, I would burn the fucking building down. But as I don't work there, here's a video about first-person shooters, made out of spite. Okay, so, first-person shooters, what are they? They are shooter games, played in first person. Now, obviously that sounds like an oversimplification, but like, it kind of isn't. Like, the concept of first-person shooters is an extremely broad genre. It's more one that you use as an umbrella term combined with other genres. Like, the before-mentioned Call of Duty is, yes, an FPS, but it's also a multiplayer PvP action game. And whilst Call of Duty is often seen as the archetype of the FPS game, it's hardly the first of its kind. Like, hello? We have literal Doom, the perhaps most famous FPS around? But not all iterations of it share the same multiplayer PvP aspects, and obviously the way they play are completely different. In Call of Duty, you're designed to be a semi-realistic version of a real-world human, limited by human abilities and capabilities. In Doom, you're the bloody Doomslayer. You're a god amongst men, gifted with abilities designed to let you pull off bonkers stuff, like literally ripping people in two. And honestly, even in COD alone, the way it's evolved and grown and experimented in its early years show that even within this one franchise, the FPS genre has grown. COD Zombies, for example, back in World at War, gave a new game mode where it's a wave-based co-op shooter, and that absolutely inspired more games that built on this. And Doom 2 has evolved throughout the years, going from everyone's beloved boomer shooter to a modern mechanical masterpiece of guts and gore. And let's add some more examples from just the AAA space alone. We have Titanfall, you know, the one they name dropped. They took the formula of the action shooter and added mechs. Not only are you fighting the other team, you're fighting giant robots, or piloting one yourself. It has a whole new layer to the genre, and these incredible movement mechanics carried them into their next game, Apex Legends, which also joins into the Battle Royale genre. And love it or hate it, it's another example of the ever-expanding FPS genre. And then we have the hero shooter. Overwatch wasn't the first, but it's undoubtedly popularized the genre, as well as some less good things.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And whilst definitely deserving of a far better CEO than the awful one they have now, Borderlands gave us a popular example of the FPS RPG, a game with character development skills and all kinds of the usual RPG mechanics, but packed nicely along your FPS gameplay. And on November 19th, 2010, the world gave us the greatest game to ever exist. Fallout New Vegas, an FPS with a large open world to explore and a story of warring factions, ideologies, an incredible sense of humor, and oh!
Smell that air!
I'm being told I have to end the Fallout segment here, otherwise the video will go on forever. And since I'm gushing over some fantastic ones from that era, Left 4 Dead 2? Like, it's the FPS horde shooter. You take on the role of survivors in a zombie apocalypse, making your way through the levels, working together, making use of what you find, and saving each other from various special zombies. These games are all still under the action shooters, and whilst the AAA space still mostly caters to these, there is one space where you can find a plethora of innovations, new ideas, and creativities that maybe the guy could have looked at if he could see anything beyond the view of the brim of his stupid bloody hat. Yes, indie games. What, you think I wouldn't talk about arguably the best scene gaming has to offer? Right off the bat, we have all kinds more action shooters, some taking inspiration from the games of old, bringing back boomer shooters in style. A personal favourite of mine is absolutely Hedon Bloodright, a Doom-inspired retro-styled shooter where you play as a big buff blue demon girl slaughtering your way through the hordes of foes in style, and like, my lesbian heart has never recovered. But I said there was more to the FPS genre than just action shooters, and I'm right. Power Wash Simulator meets all the requirements to being an FPS. It's first person and you shoot water. In Power Wash Simulator, you take on the role of a power washer. Is that the role? I don't know. But you go around in first person cleaning up grime amongst various maps, earning you cash to slowly upgrade your abilities and get even better at cleaning. It's a fun, simplistic gameplay loop that scratches that cleaning itch without having to worry about the creeping darkness that is the state of your own room currently surrounding you. Finally, getting back to my desire to talk about monster catchers, we have Slime Rancher, a series of games where you ranch slimes. You play in first person and have this cool ass gun that sucks and shoots. You hover up slimes to bring home and ranch, but also use them for all kinds of other functions as you progress through the game. Keeping details are short on this because I'll have its own dedicated review for it eventually. And returning to AAA games once more, because there's a certain game that I'm sure Splitgate 2 devs know pretty damn well. It's a little game called Portal. Yes, Portal is an FPS puzzle game. How do you think you set the portals? You shoot them with your portal gun. You know, guns. Things you explicitly shoot with. You use your portals to navigate the levels and solve puzzles, and I know Splitgate enjoyed it because they made a similar portal system for their own game. Now, this isn't me belittling Splitgate. I played the original version with friends and found myself having a great time. It was a fun game. But when you go out there on stage and act like there isn't a wealth of incredible games in the FPS genre, it kind of just shows you don't actually love the genre. You aren't passionate about it. You just want to dunk on other games rather than critique and help them evolve. And if I was a dev on Splitgate, that's not the kind of person I'd want representing the blood, sweat and tears I'd poured into the game. I think it's insulting, frankly. The devs deserve better. It's a good looking game. Being given an awful time with the aforementioned dipshit and his dumb, bloody, totally apolitical hat. By the way, if you genuinely thought that hat wasn't a political statement, may I interest you in some magic beans? Streamer and now video maker Casey Explosion, a big old inspiration to me, is also a curator on Steam and has covered plenty of FPS games of all kinds, and I'd highly recommend looking through their curation on Steam. In response to the dipshit, she also made a fantastic thread covering FPS games specifically, so if you're looking for something new to play, I'd highly recommend checking it out. I'll leave links to both of those in the description below. There's more I could say about this guy and his clearly less than stellar views on FPS games, and even more I could say about his other awful views, and whilst I could go on to talk about how Splitgate 2 just feels like a soulless amalgam of just what happens to be popular right now, stuff like battle royales, class hero shooters, and overpriced microtransactions so egregious even they had to lower the costs, and of course doing layoffs. Oh wow, they really are just like Call of Duty. Also, side note about the microtransactions thing, allegedly said CEO didn't even know about them. So he either doesn't know what's going on at his own damn company, or he's just a fucking liar. And honestly, I'm not sure which is worse. In regards to the layoffs, the CEO, Ian Prox, the before mentioned dumb twat in the hat, said he and the co-founders won't be taking a salary from his company at this time. However, looking into the company itself, back in 2021, the company 1047 Games raised over $100 million and was valued at about $1.5 billion. And if he had salary from that in the meantime, he likely gave himself a fairly sizable chunk that would see him through these tough times. And then you learn he's the son of the literal bloody right-wing lobbyist Tom Prox, who is an extremely wealthy private investor and the former CEO of Intuit. Such lobbying includes fighting back against and trying to get free tax services banned. In an LA Times article which made my skin crawl, he was literally called one of the sugar daddies of Silicon Valley. So, you know, the people literally burning down the world and trying to build a torment nexus. Wow, with a dad like that, the dumb hat is making a lot more sense now. I'm not one for sins of the father, but the dad is directly involved with 1047 Games. They have more than enough in their personal wealth to have kept the company and its employees afloat, and will not be personally experiencing any of the real hardships, unlike those the company laid off. And whoops, I made a silly video and it turned out into another rant about how capitalism sucks and is literally causing the death of the human species again. I wonder why that keeps happening. Anyway, this was just meant to be a quick one to get back into the swing of things, and because of Heatwave and other IRL stuff, I'm already way behind on my other videos, so I'm going to have to end it here. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you're interested in hearing about monster catching, taming, raising games, they'll be my focus going forwards. There'll probably still be the occasional video like this when someone really grinds my gears. But for now, I've been Deval, and I'll see you next time. Bye!